Okay, so you want to dive into this AI chatbot thing with Frontman, right? Looking through all this stuff from Makerobos, it seems like they're aiming to be more than just another chatbot company.
Yeah, they're definitely playing in a different league. The really interesting part is their approach. It's not just offering a chatbot. It's like they're offering a platform built around this whole instinct AI thing.
Okay, yeah, let's break that down a bit because Instinct AI, it sounds intriguing and all, but I need a little more than just a buzzword here. What's the secret sauce?
Well, think of instinct AI as like the brain of Frontman. It's their system. It combines the language processing of GPT-4, the stuff behind ChatGPT,
Hmm.
but they've combined that with a really unique ability to connect and learn from, well, all of your business data.
Mhm.
And I don't just mean generic information. I mean the stuff you have living in your Shopify, your CRM, even those random Google Docs nobody can ever find.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. So we're talking about way more than just a chatbot spitting out, pre-programmed responses. It's like we're talking about a system that potentially has like this whole knowledge base of a business at its fingertips.
Exactly. And it could actually like understand those data points and connect them. It's not just keyword matching. Let's say you're a customer and you want to ask about a recent order. Frontman can actually tap directly into your Shopify data to give you real-time updates. It's not just giving you vague promises.
So no more like bouncing between departments or,
It's out.
putting customers on hold while you dig for information.
Right.
This could be huge for customer experience, especially for businesses that are just drowning in data but maybe struggling to make it work for them.
Yeah, you got it. And they're pitching this as a solution for basically every single department. Like, it's not just customer service. They've got case studies in there for marketing, sales, even internal HR stuff like onboarding and training.
Okay, now we're talking about a potential game changer here, but let's talk about the how for a second. Because even with all this fancy AI setting up a chatbot, I mean, it still sounds like, kind of a daunting task to me. Do I need to like hire a team of coders just to get started with this thing?
That's where their story builder comes in. And no, you don't need a computer science degree for this one. They've made it surprisingly user-friendly. It's a no-code platform, so you're basically dragging and dropping elements to build these conversational flows. Think Lego blocks, but for AI.
All right, I'm actually starting to get a little bit excited about this, but they also mentioned like templates. Do I have to build everything from scratch or can I get a head start with this thing?
They've got a whole library of pre-built templates for different industries. So let's say you're an e-commerce business. They've already got a framework set up for things like order tracking, returns, product recommendations, you name it.
That's smart. It really lowers the barrier to entry, especially for smaller businesses that might not have the resources to build something this sophisticated from the ground up.
Exactly. And they haven't forgotten about the more advanced users either. You can customize those templates or even build your own flows from scratch if you're feeling adventurous.
Now I'm curious about this no hallucination thing that they keep mentioning, because as somebody who's had, my fair share of, shall we say, frustrating chatbot experiences, I'm a bit skeptical. How can they guarantee that Frontman isn't just going to start, making stuff up?
Well, remember those data vectors we were talking about?
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. Frontman isn't just pulling answers out of thin air. It's connecting its responses directly to your source material.
So if I ask it a question about, let's say, my company's return policy, it's not going to give me some generic answer that it found, on the internet. It's going to actually point me to like the exact section of my website where that information lives.
Precisely. It's about transparency and accountability, which, let's be honest, is a breath of fresh air in the world of AI, where things can sometimes feel like a bit of a black box.
No kidding. And I imagine that's a huge selling point for businesses that are concerned about, accuracy and consistency in their customer interactions. But let's talk about those interactions for a minute, because let's be real, a chatbot that sounds robotic or impersonal, it can do more harm than good.
That's a critical point, and it seems like Makerobos has put a lot of thought into it. They've actually built in features to make those interactions feel more human. Like, you can customize the chatbot's personality, the tone of voice. You can even give it a friendly name and an avatar.
So it's not just about what the chatbot says, it's about how it says it.
Exactly, and they're leveraging the power of GPT-4 to make those conversations flow more naturally. So we're talking about a chatbot that can actually understand context, it can remember previous interactions, even inject a bit of humor, if that's on brand for you.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued. But we've barely scratched the surface of what this Frontman thing can do. I'm particularly interested in how this all translates into real-world business results.
And that's where things get really exciting. But let's save that discussion for the next part of our deep dive.
All right, so we've established that Frontman isn't your average chatbot. This is some next-level AI we're talking about. But let's get down to, brass tacks. How does this translate into, actual tangible business results? Give me the ROI talk.
It's about working smarter, not harder, right? Imagine boosting your conversion rates, without lifting a finger. Or, well, at least a human one, right? Take Frontman's conversational ads, for example. They actually turn, passive advertising into active dialogues.
Okay, you've got my attention. How do conversational ads work?
Well, instead of just seeing, a static ad, imagine you click it and bam, you're chatting with this, friendly AI that can actually answer your questions about the product, in real time, walk you through the features, even help you, make a purchase.
So it's like having this 24/7 sales team, but without, all the overhead and awkward small talk.
Exactly. And it's not just limited to your website either. Frontman integrates with, all the big players, right? We're talking Google Ads, Facebook, you name it. Plus, they've got the analytics in there so you can actually track those conversations and how they're turning into actual conversions.
So you can actually measure how effective these chatbots are at turning, scrollers into buyers.
Right.
That's pretty powerful stuff. But let's talk about another big one here, customer service. Because, let's be honest, nobody likes waiting on hold. And it seems like, a lot of companies out there are struggling to kind of keep up with all these customer demands.
Right. And that's where Frontman really shines, Imagine a world where your customers can get their questions answered instantly, 24/7, without ever actually having to, talk to a human. No more, frustrating phone trees, no more waiting on hold for the next available agent.
And with Frontman's, no hallucination approach, you can actually be confident that those answers are going to be, accurate and actually consistent with your brand messaging.
Exactly. It's about creating this seamless and efficient experience for the customer where they actually feel, heard and valued, even though they're interacting with a bot.
But what about those customers who still want that, human touch? Are we saying goodbye to human interaction completely here?
Not at all. Think of it as strategic delegation. Frontman can take care of all that routine stuff for you. So think answering FAQs, processing returns, maybe scheduling appointments. So it frees up your human agents to actually focus on, those more complex issues that really require that empathy, that creativity, those, uniquely human problem-solving skills.
So it's almost like having a team of super powered assistants, each of them with their own, area of expertise. And that kind of brings us to, I think, another potential benefit of AI, which is personalization. Because let's be honest, these generic marketing messages, they just don't cut it anymore.
They really don't. I mean, consumers are savvy. They're bombarded with information, and they expect these personalized experiences. And that's where, that deep understanding that Frontman has of customer context really comes in.
Because it's not just about remembering a customer's name or their past purchase history. It's about actually understanding their intent, their, preferences even, their pain points, and actually responding in a way that feels, truly personalized.
Exactly. Imagine a customer visits your website for the first time. Well, Frontman can analyze, their browsing behavior, identify what their interests are, and proactively, offer them assistance or even suggest, relevant products to them all in real time.
Okay, so that's next level personalization.
Yeah.
It's like having, a personal shopper for every single customer, but without all the, the pushy sales tactics. And with all this talk about AI and automation, we kind of have to, address the elephant in the room here, the potential impact on jobs. Is this the beginning of the robot takeover, or are we getting a little ahead of ourselves here?
It's a valid concern, but I think it's more, nuanced than just this simple robots versus humans narrative that we always hear. It's with any kind of technological advancement, there are going to be shifts in the job market, right? So some roles may become automated, but new ones, will emerge.
So it's about adapting to a changing landscape, much like we did, during the rise of the internet or the mobile revolution.
Exactly. And I think the key to navigating this whole transition is really, education and upskilling. We need to be equipping people with the skills to actually thrive in, an AI-powered world. So things like, critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, emotional intelligence, these uniquely human traits that AI just, it can't replicate.
So it's not about like fearing the robots, but rather about embracing like these possibilities and preparing ourselves for a future where, humans and AI actually work, collaboratively.
Absolutely. And that collaboration is crucial,
Yeah.
and not just in the workplace, but in like society as a whole. I mean, we need to be having these like open and honest conversations about the ethical implications of AI, about data privacy, bias, making sure that this technology is being used, responsibly and actually for the benefit of everybody.
Because at the end of the day, AI is a tool, right? It's really up to us to decide how we want to wield it.
Well said. And that's why I think platforms like Frontman are so, intriguing because they're not just pushing the boundaries of what's, technologically possible. They're also engaging in these really important conversations about, responsible AI development.
It's like we're standing at the edge of this whole new world, and we get to be the ones to actually help chart the course. But for those business owners listening right now, it's not just about like the philosophical stuff. It's about understanding like how to practically prepare for this future where AI is it's becoming like increasingly commonplace.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And I think one of the biggest mistakes that businesses can make is thinking of AI as this like distant thing that, oh, we can worry about that later. The reality is it's already here. It's evolving
Ah.
rapidly.
Mm.
And those who are like, those who embrace it early on are the ones who are going to have that, that significant advantage.
So it's not just about buying the like coolest new AI chatbot and calling it a day. It's about this like more fundamental shift in mindset.
Precisely. It's about integrating AI into your company culture, your workflows even, like, your long-term like business strategies.
And I think a big part of that is like demystifying AI. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of, there's hype, there's jargon, and frankly, there's a fair bit of fear, surrounding this whole technology.
Yeah, no question. And that's where, education comes in. And not just for, your tech team, but for, for everyone, in your organization.
Mhm.
The more people actually understand about AI, how it works, what it can actually do, the less intimidating it becomes.
It's about empowering, your team to see AI not as this threat, but as a tool that can like, augment their skills, maybe streamline their work, and even open up new possibilities.
Exactly. And it's not even just about like, understanding the technology itself. It's also about developing, those uniquely human skills that are going to be even more valuable, in this AI powered world.
Things like creativity, critical thinking,
Right.
emotional intelligence, adaptability, those kinds of qualities that actually like set us apart from the machines.
Exactly. Because, while AI can automate certain tasks, it can analyze data, it can even like, mimic human conversation. It can't replicate, human ingenuity, can't replicate empathy or, that spark of intuition that really drives, true innovation.
So it's not about choosing, humans or our machines. It's about finding that sweet spot where humans and AI can actually work together, synergistically.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's what makes, platforms like this Frontman thing, so interesting. Because they're not just building sophisticated AI, they're building the tools that empower businesses to harness that AI effectively, but also responsibly.
And as we kind of, wrap up this deep dive here, I think that's a really powerful message, for our listeners to take away from all this.
Mm.
The future of AI, it's not something to be, afraid of. It's something to be embraced, to be explored and to be shaped with intention.
Absolutely. And it starts with, curiosity. It starts with this willingness to learn and the understanding that, the most transformative technologies are often the ones that like amplify our human potential. They don't replace it.
This has been quite a journey, and honestly, I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this whole, this fascinating and rapidly evolving topic. But for those of you who are, eager to kind of continue your AI exploration, I definitely encourage you to, check out the Makerobos website. They've got tons of great resources on there, case studies. They even have a free trial of Frontman, so you can actually, experience this cutting edge technology firsthand.
Yeah. And don't forget to like, tap into the power of the AI community. There are so many like, online forums, podcasts, events, you name it, where you can actually connect with experts. You can, share ideas and really like, stay ahead of the curve in this whole, this exciting new frontier.
Because the future of AI, I mean, being written, right now, and we all have a role to play in actually shaping it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep asking those big questions.